Primark is Britain's biggest clothing retailer. But how did this low-cost fashion emporium go from a single store in Dublin to a high street sensation?
I don't think you'd be able to have a chat with anyone in the UK that wouldn't understand who they were, what they did, what their offer was.
Now we go inside Primark to find out the secrets of the brand's success. From how they keep up with the latest fashions...
This was phenomenal.
...to their unique approach to advertising.
Primark's Instagram account has about 9 million followers on it. M&S is like 1.9 million.
From how they predict trends months in advance.
Hugely risky, but for the moment, it is working. And it makes it so much cheaper.
To exactly how they achieve those low prices.
Because they are one of the world's biggest retailers, they have an ability to really command those low prices.
Serving 1 million customers every day, with more than 400 stores worldwide and annual sales of over 5 billion. We'll reveal Primark. How do they really do it? Primark is one of the biggest success stories in recent times, more than doubling its number of stores in the last 15 years. But what are the secrets of their success? Well, in an increasingly digital world, one of them might just surprise you. While its rivals have pushed ahead online, Primark has unlocked the key to success on the high street by making their stores places customers are desperate to visit.
One of the things that makes Primark different from its main high street rivals is it really only wants big destination stores. If you look at its two biggest rivals, M&S and Next, they've got a kind of variety of different formats. Primark just wants big box shops.
The newly opened Birmingham Mega Store takes this to extremes. With a retail space of 160,000 square foot spread over 5 floors, this massive space used to host an entire shopping centre of 50 stores. But it's now just one big shop. With 40 managers and 700 staff, Primark Birmingham is the biggest store in the world. People travel from all over the UK to shop here.
There are companies that run coach trips and holiday weekend trips with the sole intention of visiting Primark Birmingham. And the coaches pull up here and you see dozens and dozens of people walk into the store, picking up the shopping trolleys, and then you see them throughout the day just absolutely filling them up. It's quite a sight, to be honest with you.
And the company has realised that in a store this size, they need more than just clothes. Everything's been carefully thought through to keep customers inside for as long as possible.
This is Smokey's Barbers. You can have threading, waxing, nail polish, pedicures, lashes, you name it, we do it all here. We want them to explore all the amazing product that we have to offer, but at the same time, we don't want them to be inconvenient. If they want to get a coffee, or if the kids are starting to get frustrated, they can pop up to our Disney cafe.
Primark has removed as many reasons for leaving their stores as they can.
It's a phrase used in the retail industry, dwell time. You don't want people just to come in, buy an item and leave. You want someone to come in, look for the item. Oh, think that looks like a nice cafe. I'll stop there. I'll have a coffee and a bun. I'll then buy something else. Oh, and on the way you spot, oh, a nice little bit of homewares. That's a nice vase and it's only £5. In it goes into your basket. So if you can increase the dwell time, you're onto a winning formula and you've justified the high expense of operating a high street store.
Now, a destination store creates an experience for the consumer, almost like going to a theme park, where all your senses are activated and you want to stay there for longer.
In stores of this scale, dwell time is unavoidable. And of course, for Primark customers, buying in store is their only option. Because unlike most other high street brands, Primark famously has no online shop. While its competitors have spent millions in the last 20 years on logistics and fulfillment centres, Primark have bucked the trend. The brand has a website, but you can only browse, not buy. Some critics may see this as a weakness, but others believe it's actually a secret of their success.
It's estimated that it costs £7 for every single fashion item that's bought online. That's the cost of packaging it, getting it to a customer, and the high risk the very high risk it will be sent back. Well, Primark sells tons of stuff for less than £7. It can't afford to incur a £7 cost for an item that they're selling for £6, and they're only expected to make a profit of a few pennies on. It just doesn't make sense for Primark.
By refusing to sell online, Primark dodge the high costs of online retail, helping them to keep prices low.
If you've still got queues of people when you reopen after an enforced lockdown of months, and they're all there still willing to buy, all wanting to have their sprees, and you survive that and you can carry on going, why would you then flick the switch to your online platform, which means people might not buy as much, they might not browse as much, they might potentially return a lot of the products? I think it's pretty obvious to me why Primark aren't online.
In store, Primark leave nothing to chance. The look and layout of their stores are planned meticulously. Visual merchandisers carefully choreograph the shop floor, starting from the moment you walk in the door, and the all-important trend zone.
The trend zone is a coordinated space. It's at the front of store. What you'll find throughout our Primark stores is we get coordinated spaces that happen as little moments throughout the store, and this is where we really bring our product to life and bring the store to life.
Our trend space is essentially to inspire, so this is our premium space. We have everything from your basic essentials all the way to our fashion-forward product. This is our space to be, yes, creative, our best foot forward, but also the trend space is here to surprise, so if they're not expecting it. Everything from the mannequins to the light boxes, to the graphics, to the price, and of course the product. It's extremely important.
The team are starting at 6 a.m. to get the zone ready for the day's trade.
We are doing our brand new trend, so it's called Fresh Starts.
Everything is designed to get the hottest new looks into the bottom of your shopping basket.
So we have a cluster of 5 mannequins. Yeah, and if there's something that you don't like on this mannequin, the chances are you might be the next one. That's Amrita's job.
The nearby shelves are planned with precision. Everything on display is on a rail nearby, so the consumer can shop the entire look in one fell swoop.
As you can see, this is a full outfit. So essentially what you might find on a mannequin at the very front, this is how to access it. This is to pick it up. I love this. Okay, grab it and go.
And to create constant interest, Primark need to update their look regularly.
On a monthly basis, this space will evolve. We get a style guide from head office, and we're there to embody that, create that, even play on that so we could take it a little further. We've got so much in here.
While the trend zone gets a monthly makeover, other areas of the store get much more frequent attention.
There's other areas that change, again, on a daily basis. We react to new lines as soon as they're in, as soon as the team see them, they're reacting. So every day is different in the world of Primark for the team.
The team respond to sales intel on how products are performing and move things around the shop floor accordingly. Keeping stock fresh and always having something new to offer customers is essential and key to their success. With the store prepped and teeming full of the latest lines, the doors are open for the day's trade. Coming up, how Primark predict trends months in advance, and how they leave no stone unturned in their attempts to be cheaper than the competition. As a bricks-and-mortar retail business, Primark's global expansion in recent years is remarkable. In 2018, they took over the #1 fashion retailer spot from retail giant Marks & Spencer. The chain now has 400 stores worldwide and plans to open 100 more in the next 5 years. Refusing to sell online isn't the only thing that marks them out from some of their competitors. Their approach to advertising is also quite unique. Instead of expensive TV and billboard campaigns, Primark has got their loyal customers to do their marketing for them.
Primark is Britain's biggest clothing retailer in terms of volume of clothes it sells, and yet it does not advertise traditionally on the TV, on newspapers, on billboards. It doesn't need to do it. They have enough people talking about the brand, shopping in the shops for them not to need to advertise.
I don't think you'd be able to have a chat with anyone in the UK that wouldn't understand who they were, what they did, what their offer was.
Word of mouth is an age-old trick, but Primark have taken advantage of it in a very 21st century way. With around 20 million followers on social media, Primark dominates the competition in the digital world.
Primark's Instagram account has about 9 million followers on it. They have a really loyal following. You know, they also then help create the hype.
Compare that to M&S with 1.9 million. Primark use social media to engage existing fans and encourage new ones to check them out.
Primark has invested heavily in social media. It posts very regularly on Facebook and Instagram. It uses Twitter for its customer service, and it engages with its customers regularly.
But it's more than just the Primark posts that get the buzz going.
The key to it really is the fact that its customers are doing the work on their social media platforms. They're the ones who are posting selfies of themselves, showing their hauls, and they're doing all that advertising for them.
I have for you guys a massive Primark haul.
And that is one of the big secrets to Primark's marketing success. An army of shoppers like Amina who make their own videos without being paid by Primark, advertising their products for free. One craze sweeping the internet is the haul. Shoppers buy bagfuls of clothing, then film videos showcasing their purchases. Primark hauls are some of the most popular, watched by millions every week.
Primark hauls on my YouTube channel seems to always hit a lot more than the other videos, which I honestly genuinely believe it's because it's affordable for everyone, so therefore it tends to get a lot of views. The first item I picked up is this gorgeous trench coat.
People like Amina promoting Primark for free to young audiences create a buzz that advertising departments can only dream of.
If you just picture the outfit, you guys, this trench coat, I don't know, it's a vibe.
And once the buzz has been created, Primark can use their own accounts to spread the word even further.
Social media creates a conversation with the consumers directly, and I think that fits the brand culture as well. The social media discussion is about the excitement about what product's going to drop in store, where it's going to be, that it's going to be in a limited amount. They want to find that product, they want to get it at that price point, and they're using digital to do that. It's quite the reverse of everyone else.
What they have done is they've created an online presence to create awareness of their brand and entice you. It's very, very clever. Because what they're doing is saying, look at what you can see. These are all our products and you can see them from wherever you want, but you gotta buy them in store.
The savings Primark make in advertising are huge compared to their competitors and all go towards keeping prices low. But to get them as low as Primark does means more than just savvy use of marketing. There are a number of other important factors, including how they source from their suppliers. And that starts with buying vast quantities, achieving incredible economies of scale.
They have tremendous buying power. So because they are one of the UK, if not the world's biggest retailers, they have an ability to really command those kind of low prices.
Unlike some other fashion brands, they follow a global buying strategy. While other retailers tailor their products to specific markets, Primark sell exactly the same range in the UK as they do in Spain, Italy, and the US.
Primark have decided we're going to get everything the same. Hugely risky, but for the moment, it is working. And it makes it so much cheaper because you're ordering clothes not just for your 190 UK stores, you're ordering clothes for your 400 stores all around the world. It's another way that Primark saves money.
Buying at that scale means more buying power than the competition. But when you're buying billions of pounds worth of clothes in one go, you need to be confident that they are going to sell.
We took this and maybe did it in a bomber or something like that.
Yeah, nice.
I think it'd be lovely.
Really nice.
Really lovely with that highlight.
The people making crucial decisions about what Primark should sell are the team of buyers, the ones responsible for sourcing and choosing the products. And cameras have been allowed in for the very first time to find out exactly how the Primark buying team operates.
The buyer's job is to develop product for the Primark customer and make sure that that product is on trend, is fit for purpose, and it obviously hits our sales targets as well.
And like any retailer, they need to understand their market.
The secret to success in Primark, I think it's about understanding our customer. It's about, you know, that intel and knowing who that customer is. I would say one of the big challenges for us is timing. You know, we buy a lot of our product on very long lead times. That means we have to have a very good idea what we want months and months in advance.
And to do that, the buyers work with the design team, whose job it is to spot upcoming trends.
Design come up with the ideas from following trend websites, going out there inspirational shopping and seeing what the future trends will be.
Nicole Higgins was a buyer for Primark until 2017.
Design teams are searching specific trend websites. They're also going shopping in Korea, shopping in LA, and seeing what's out there. Also looking at the competition and looking at catwalks as well. So from a trend point of view, there are some of the things that they're looking at. But then it's also the designers will look at what's happening at a macro level. So what I mean in that, in terms of not necessarily what's on the catwalks, but how are we living? You know, what do we want to wear?
And Primark have the ability to move quickly. As we all spent more time at home due to COVID, leisure wear surged in popularity. Paola and her design team responded fast with products like the cosy Snoody.
This piece that is stay warm, stay cozy, stay at home, that was a massive trend in the last 2-3 years.
Furry lined, super comfy, and so ridiculously huge it went down to your knees, the Snoody became an iconic smash. Primark sold over 2 million of these in just 4 months. And it's not just the Snoody that's been a massive hit. The team here forecast that cycling shorts and sportswear were here to stay, and they were proved right. And outside of clothes, homeware trends like this gold bar cart sold out in record time, generating free publicity in the press every time it came back into stock. Of course, they don't always get things right. And so Primark have learned to respond quickly if its items aren't selling.
If something's not working and you know, right, okay, I've got some things coming in that are similar to this, and this isn't working, it's straight on the phone to the supplier. Have you cut that fabric yet? That shape's not working for us. We need to put it into a different shape. You know, so it's just about being reactive and responsive all the time.
And if it's too late to change the order, the less popular products will be quickly discounted and moved to a less prominent area of the store.
So what Primark will do if something isn't working, they'll give it a new lower price. So say it was at £10, they'll now reduce it to £8, and they'll do that very quickly. They can see within a couple, you know, it might be 2 or 3 weeks, less than that, and it's not selling the way it needs to be. So it will be given a new lower price, it will be put in a certain area of store, and it will be cleared. And it will free up space for something else to come in, and it frees up cash.
This rapid response helps them keep one step ahead of the competition. One of the secrets behind this speed is decision-making at a lower level.
The decisions are quicker, there's less red tape and less people involved in that decision-making, and that's how it can be made quicker. And there's a lot of autonomy with the buyers and the junior members of staff. When I was working on footwear, I had a buyer's admin, so the entry level. She had her own area, and that area was worth about 21 million. You know, so you get a lot of responsibility at a quite junior level.
Primark's key secret is delivering these products at the lowest possible cost. And once the designs are decided, they aim to make them as cheaply as possible.
We work hard with design up front to spot the trends. Then we work with merchandising and supply base to deliver fantastic product at fantastic prices. And then we work with retail about how we range that, where we send it. You know, the buyer is at the centre of that.
If you think back to where we were over 50 years ago, we were a small retailer in Ireland with only a few stores. We're now in 15 different countries, over 400 stores, and a lot of those suppliers have been with us from the very, very beginning. So they have grown in scale as well as we have. And the only way we could do that really is by having real, good, solid, strong partnerships.
And those crucial relationships with suppliers mean Primark can track every single cost during production, keeping their manufacturing spend as low as possible.
Dealing with Primark, because we have bigger volumes, so we buy more quantities per style, the supplier doesn't have to keep changing the production line. So that strips out an awful lot of the cost. So we can obviously give that back to our customers.
Former Primark buyer Nicole has also worked for competitors M&S and George at Asda. She's agreed to show us exactly how Primark save money at different stages of the production process. Take these jumpers and boots, which look broadly similar.
Here we've got a couple of items to compare. I've got a Primark jumper and a similar looking jumper from another retailer. I've got a Primark pair of boots and a similar looking boots from another retailer.
Although they look alike, key differences in design, fabric and manufacturing mean the Primark jumper costs 1/3 of the price.
So this one from Primark, it is made in China, so there'll be slightly cheaper labour costs. The other retailer, it's made in Turkey, so there's different labour costs.
And it's not just labour costs, it's how the garment is put together.
The knit is tighter, so it will take more yarn to make the garment. And it's also a more detailed garment, so you've got a thicker rib on the hem and on the sleeve as well. And there's more detail around the neckline and around the shoulders as well. So there's more raw material, so obviously there's a higher material cost or yarn cost, which would drive up the cost there as well. One other thing, and this is more to do with the design, but if you actually look at the two of them together, they're both the size small. If you laid them on top of each other, you'll see there's a lot more material in the one from the other retailer.
And even trimming down on the design can claw back cash. The same rule applies to footwear.
This is the pair from Primark. There's a lot of detail. You've got your gold eyelets and you've got your chain detail here. These are made in China and they are made out of PU, so it's a synthetic man-made material. And it has a synthetic outsole as well. The main driving force in terms of some of the cost difference here will be the labour cost from China and also the material as well. Then if you look at the one from the other retailer, these are leather, completely different material with a different cost. When you're making this product, there's a lot more wastage because the leather pieces are smaller. Here it's like it will just be on a roll of fabric. So you've got a synthetic material versus a natural material. If you think of the shape of a leather hide, they'll be able to get less boots out of that leather hide versus then a roll of material that are on the Primark ones.
Primark maximise every inch of material to make their money go further. And it's differences like this that make the Primark boots less than 1/4 of the price.
But regardless of the differences, the way Primark's cost model is and the way their retail model is, that even if these items were the exact same and you could not tell them apart and they were made from the exact same materials in the exact same countries, Primark would still be the cheaper retail price and want to be the cheaper retail price because that is what they base their ethos on. You know, that's what is their business model. They want to be the cheapest retailer.
Low prices are Primark's USP, so they are prepared to take a lower margin than their rivals to achieve that. And they can afford to because of the huge volumes they sell at. But do the savings made in production mean Primark clothes are lower quality? Take this polo shirt from a major high street retailer. It may look very similar to the Primark version, but it costs more than 4 times the price. So will it last longer? We asked textile specialist Ian Strudwick to put them to the test, starting with trying to find out how fast they will fall apart.
The abrasion test gave a result of 20,000 abrasive rub cycles for the Primark garment, which is a good result. It won't give any obvious issues of breaking down into holes within the lifetime of the garment.
The competitor product, by contrast, performed less well than Primark, only 12,000 rub cycles. So it won't fall apart, but will it shrink in the wash?
The washing tests gave interesting results. In both cases, the shrinkage levels were high.
High, but not the same, starting with the competitor.
Comparatively, the garment both shrank in the length and in the width. It now appears slightly smaller than the original, whereas the Primark garment shrank in the length but not in the width, so it now appears squarer than the original.
But even though the Primark one only shrunk in length, the shrinkage was greater than the competitor, creating a visible difference after washing. But Primark's top did win out on the abrasion test. So despite the perception that low-price clothing falls apart, that doesn't always seem to be the case. And it's this non-stop focus on low price and being on trend that means Primark has seen off its rivals to become the #1 by volume on the high street. And that focus doesn't stop at manufacturing. Primark keeps costs down at every stage, including getting them ready to hang on the rail in store as efficiently as possible.
One of the ways that Primark saves money is they buy in huge bulk from their factories in China, in Myanmar and India. But crucially, the clothes leave those factories already on a hanger, already in the cellophane with a hanger and a price tag. The factories, they take responsibility for doing that. They arrive at the store and the store staff just take them out of the box that they left the factory and put them straight onto the rail. And that just saves time, it saves costs, it saves hassle, and ultimately it means that Primark can sell the dress or the T-shirt fractionally cheaper than some of their rivals.
So this lean supply chain is about having as few bump in the roads as possible. They want the products simply to be factory to warehouse to store as quickly as it can so that it can sell through as quickly as it can.
One of the other things that you'll notice is everything is printed with the price. And that is because it saves Primark the time of having to apply price stickers. That really does save a huge amount of store hours for their staff, and that's done at the expense of the supplier most of the time.
From design through manufacturing and getting products onto the rail, Primark keeps costs down. Coming up, why Primark's products can sometimes look similar to designer brands.
They do that by, I would say, flying very close to the sun.
And we put their cosmetics to the test against their high-end competitors. Primark is the biggest fashion retailer in Britain, and it all started here in Dublin way back in 1969 with a small discount clothing retailer called Pennies.
Well, we're looking at our late founder, Mr. Arthur Ryan, who started this business back in 1969. He was working for a competitor. The Weston family, who have always owned Primark, wanted to set up a value clothing brand here in Dublin. And they bought an old department store that I'm standing over right here today, and they poached Mr. Ryan from the competitor to set up this business.
4 years later, the first UK store opened in Derby, followed by a name change.
We opened our stores in England and Scotland as Pennies, which is the original name of the business here in Ireland. And in fact, it still is the name of our business here in Ireland. But a trademark issue meant we had to change our name, and the name Primark was devised.
By 2000, Primark had over 100 stores, and its expansion continued, taking over landmark sites in major city centre locations.
Its big explosion in the UK is in the early 2000s, when a series of very big names, most famously Woolworths, but also C&A and Alders go bust, and they leave on the high street these incredible, huge, big destination sites that Primark snaps up.
Large stores in locations like London's West End, Europe's busiest shopping street, brought in thousands of new customers. And when the economy turned from boom to bust, Primark was perfectly positioned.
The financial crash of 2008 just made thrift cool. Lots of people wanted to mix and match high-end stuff with cheap stuff, and Primark was in the right place at the right time.
There's been such a shift in tide when it comes to both the way we buy food and fashion in the UK that there is no embarrassment about shopping value. It's actually seen as something where you're a great and savvy shopper if you can shop that way. You've beat the trend if you can manage to get something more economically than someone else.
Primark's trick was to offer designer-inspired clothes at rock-bottom prices, cheering Britain up with colourful prints and high-end looking accessories. So much so that fans coined a new phrase for items that looked fabulous but cost a lot less.
Famous thing was, is it from Primani? And it was Primark became fashionable. Didn't happen overnight, but its timing was lucky. It coincided with a desire from cool people to save money on cheap fashion.
It has even led fans to compare Primark products with much more expensive high-end designs.
You probably would have seen this all over social media. There's a very similar one that I believe Louis Vuitton do.
This bag is an absolute designer dupe for the Bottega Veneta, the pouch bag that is just under £2,000.
Some shoppers use the term dupes when comparing Primark's products to more expensive ones.
Primark like to pay tribute to high fashion couture and items that are very much the focus of the latest fashion magazine. And they do that by, I would say, flying very close to the sun, a little bit too close for comfort a lot of the time.
Primark's strategy is to jump on a trend, make it affordable, and let everyone buy in.
A huge majority of consumers who buy a Primark handbag aren't buying it because they think, oh, my friends think this is a Gucci handbag. They just think it looks a bit like, it's known as the halo effect. It's reminiscent of a Gucci or a Burberry handbag, and therefore some of that golden glow reflects upon me for having the cheap version. It's all very subtle, but no laws are being broken.
It's not just in clothing that Primark has made trends affordable. Their own brand skincare, hair care and beauty products have grown 15 times bigger in a decade. Makeup influencer Amelia shares hints, tips and hacks with her hundreds of thousands of followers every day. Some of her most popular videos feature makeup products from Primark.
Have I found a Primark, yes Primark, a dupe for the famous Colourpop Sol bronzing balm, like the cream bronzer? I think I might have.
And again, within makeup, the fans use the word dupes to describe products they feel are very similar to specific products from other famous, higher-priced brands. Amelia has never worked for Primark and isn't paid to demonstrate their products. She features their cosmetics as it's something her followers want to see. So, how does Primark makeup stack up? Today, she is making up half her face with Primark and half with pricier products from a famous brand. The branded blush is much more expensive than the Primark offering.
So it is really pretty. I know it'll look really nice on the skin. This is like the kind of colours that I usually wear.
Primark's blusher is a staggering 22 times cheaper. But how does it compare?
To be completely honest, it looks exactly the same. Like, there's not much difference in how it performs on the skin to the expensive one.
It's similar with the lipstick. Amelia is trying a Primark lipstick against a branded product that's over 10 times the price.
Applying the Primark lipstick is very similar.
So it looks the part, but how does the competitor product feel?
Feels a bit more luxurious, a little bit thicker, whereas this side feels a little bit gritty, a little bit thin. But how they look is very similar.
But the low-cost cosmetics aren't always a success. The more expensive eyeshadow performs very differently to the Primark version, which is less than a quarter of the price.
So I'm just picking up some of the cream shadow, and I can see that once you have taken off that top shimmer layer of glitter, it does just look like a petroleum jelly, like a Vaseline underneath. And I do know sometimes more affordable brands can do that just to make it look pretty on top. So if we then swatch it in comparison, I feel like you can already see where this is going with them two, because that is a very poor swatch of a shadow. It doesn't look the best. Overall, there is some hits and misses between the products.
And coming in at almost a tenth of the price of the branded products, it seems like some of the Primark makeup hits the target. So how do Primark develop beauty products which, at least in some cases, compete against much more expensive brands? Their secret is they often use the exact same manufacturers. Beauty brand consultant Fiona has developed products herself and knows how the process works.
It's made quite simply by briefing your supplier on the product that you're looking to match and then working closely with them until you've found a product quality and packaging that you feel is in line with that. Primark is working with some of the best suppliers that are supplying other high street brands and also branded products.
It seems high-end brands and cheaper high street versions can sometimes cost a similar amount to make.
It's quite likely that the cost price of the actual product out of the factory would have been relatively similar. But the real difference in the retail prices of both of them is a huge amount of costs that the branded products have to allow for. A lot of that is marketing. Your celebrity ambassadors, your social media, through to training and the stores and stands that they have. And that's why the differences in retail prices are so stark.
It's not just marketing. Primark is focused on saving money at every stage.
Primark are experts at understanding how to take the cost out of packaging and also designing it in a way that looks very visually appealing so that it's a compelling reason for a consumer to purchase. Could be something really minor, from changing the pack size, changing the amount of colours that are printed on the packaging. No stone is left unturned when it comes to looking at the product and how costs can be maximised.
While bargain cosmetics and designer-inspired fashions are popular with shoppers, over 50% of their products are actually a lot less glamorous, everyday basic essentials.
I think it's a common misconception that Primark are a very fashionable retailer to go and shop with. They will have a certain amount of items that will be the latest look, colour, trend or theme, and they're positioned very much in the windows, at the front of store when you walk in. They're very noticeable in store, but the bulk of the offering is very everyday. It is the generic products that fill our wardrobes and are necessities for a lot of us: blue jeans, white t-shirts.
Primark's essential components of their products are generally built on basic staple products that don't necessarily always change.
And these low-cost essentials are actually another one of the secrets to Primark's success.
Generally with clothing, 20% of your range will make up 80% of your sales. So they'll be buying huge volumes on the core bread and butter products. So that might be certain denim, it will be certain t-shirts. If you go into Primark's lingerie department and they'll have, hundreds of styles, lots and lots of different colours, but probably the items that are making the most amount of money are the 5-pack knickers, the basic t-shirt bras. They're like the core bread and butter lines.
As well as bringing in the most money, it's the everyday basics that attract so many loyal customers.
So I've just gone in to buy just clothing for work. So I just bought some basic trainers, socks, and some thermals.
I like Primark because it's cheap. You can find everything in there, to be honest.
Anything that you need, it's going to be in there. So boots, socks, whatever, it's going to be in there. But it might not necessarily be up to the standards. If you want something more high-end, yeah.
With mountains of basics on offer, customers are drawn in for the essentials. But thanks to their enormous stores, before you know it, you've got more than you bargained for.
People go in to buy the kids' trainers or a pair of socks and actually come out with so many things. It's typical of IKEA and going in for the tea lights and the meatballs and coming out with a sideboard. It's very much about trying to sell you as much volume when you get through the door as possible. It's the association with value for money, and it's also the fact they do necessities so well.
But while many consumers enjoy the plentiful bargains, others question the impact of its low-cost fashion. Coming up, we find out whether Primark's rise to the top of British retail can really last. Primark's strategy of selling high volume at low prices has led to a problem. The accusation that it has become a byword for disposable fashion.
There'll always be a space in a lot of people's hearts for Primark. It's enabled them, and enabled them within a budget they can afford. The question we actually do need to ask, though, is has it also encouraged a culture of buying more than we need and disposing it because we don't think about the price point of it?
In the UK, we buy more clothes than any other country in Europe. And it's not just that we are buying too much. Like lots of low-cost fashion retailers, Primark has also faced criticism that its sourcing is not sustainable.
Primark haven't always had the best track record, I suppose, when it comes to sustainability in particular, and I guess the kind of ethical side of their business has been questioned a few times in the media in the past.
We've got consumers that are becoming far more aware of environmental impact and pressure. We know that consumers are asking businesses to be better. They want them to be better in terms of how they buy goods, how they sell goods. And realistically, that's going to put pressure on Primark.
So, can the business model that brought them such success continue? It's a sizable challenge for Primark and the wider industry, and they have to find ways to address this if they are to stay successful.
So it is doable, we're already doing it. So already in a very short period of time, we've made over 25% of what you see in stores is more sustainable today. We have ambitions and a roadmap or a commitment to make that 100%. So I absolutely believe that it's what the customers are asking us for, it's what Primark need to do for their future business, and it's the right thing to do.
Primark are trying to improve sustainability in a number of different ways.
We're running workshops in store at the moment to offer customers that insight into how just to make quick repairs that ultimately make sure that these garments are kept in use for longer. And then what we ultimately need consumers to do, or our customers at Primark, is to actually bring them back and dispose of them responsibly. And then we actually donate them, we recycle them.
These in-store initiatives aren't the whole story. Behind the scenes, Primark has committed to making changes across its business, to the way it makes its clothes, to make more sustainable fashion affordable for all.
So we've been building Primark Cares. So you see the heart here. What that means is anything with the blue heart means that it's made from more sustainable materials, or organic or recycled materials.
However you feel about their impact on fast fashion, there's no doubt that Primark's strategy has been successful. And now they are trying to crack the holy grail of retail, America.
There are so many British companies who've gone over to America thinking we're huge in Britain, we'll crack America, and they have failed. Notably Tesco, Britain's most successful retailer. Hundreds have failed to make it in America. It looks like Primark are going to do it in a way that others haven't been able to do it. They are expanding fast. And if they can crack America, then Primark will become not just Britain's most successful clothing retailer, but the world's most successful clothing retailer.
Of course, in the ever-changing world of retail, Primark's growth has had an impact on other fashion retailers.
Some people feel that it's been at the detriment of the high street. It's so value-oriented and the prices are so low. How can anyone compete side by side with that? And has it perhaps taken other fashion brands, particularly out of the marketplace? But the other side of that, the flip side of that, is actually Primark is a destination store, which means that it can attract footfall into a town or city centre that's seen so many brands close and disappear in terms of their outlets there, that perhaps didn't have as much of a footfall, didn't have as many people visiting, and their reason to visit will be to go to a Primark.
It's one of the key retailers that landlords want in a shopping centre, because they know that it will be one of the main reasons that customers will come to that shopping centre, and then other retailers will receive a halo effect from the shoppers that are coming to Primark.
And this power gives them yet another way to drive costs down.
Shopping centres, retail parks, they look for those anchor tenants. Primark really has that leverage in those discussions with landlords and can really drive great deals for their sites.
This ability to continue to keep their costs low mean that some at least think they'll be around for a long time yet.
The high street is evolving and changing, and Primark keeps evolving and changing with it. They know their craft, they know the consumer. They're cheaper than the fast fashion retailers that are online. They're not going anywhere.